Hi everyone, Irene here from Admin Army, back with this week's Xero tip. Today we're going to take a look at quoting. So I don't know if you know, but Xero has quoting functionality as well as the invoicing functionality. So if you come into accounts and sales, you can see that down the bottom here, there's a quotes area where there's currently no quotes in the system. But what we can do is select a new quote. And the layout of the screen is really similar to what it looks like for an invoice. So you're going to be really familiar with how it looks. There's a few key differences. So you select a customer the same way that you would for an invoice, and you select the quote date. However, the first difference is going to be that you're going to have an expiry date. So Xero at the top gives you a few options around whether that's going to be in 7 or 14 or 30 days, but you can also scroll forward and select whatever date you like. So the quote number, Xero will automatically generate a quote number the same way that it does with your invoices. And if you want to put a reference, so it could be, just as an example, website design, then that way you can easily see what it is for. You can attach files to that quote the same way that you can for invoices and bills. And you can also add a title and summary. So it could be that you want to have, website design or Bayside Club. And your summary could be that you want to have like a little thing about why they should work with you for their website design, or why website design is vital for a business, or whatever you want, you can put in the summary. From here, you enter, line items the same way that you would. If you have items loaded in inventory, you can just select those. So, we're going to quote for our book, Fish Out of Water, Finding Your Brand. So we're going to do that as a quote. Amounts are tax inclusive, same as you would for invoicing. Adding a new line, same as you would for invoicing. The next thing that is a little bit different is that you have these terms. And so this is if you want to include any specific terms in regards to the quote. So it could be, 10% deposit required on quote acceptance. And then whatever other terms you might have have progress payments, so 30 for the progress or whatever. And then you can save that at any point in time and come back to work on it. So we can see that I've saved that. I can come back to view the quote and make any further adjustments. When I am ready to send it, or if I want to have a look and make sure I'm happy with how it looks, I can select print, which will create it as a PDF. And if we open that up, we can see that it's branded with the same branding that I use in the standard template option. And we can see that, I've got the title that we're showing up, and I can have my terms showing down the bottom as well. If you have regular terms that you want to include in your quotes, what you can do is come into the settings and go to general settings and adjust the template the same way that you would if you were adjusting an invoice template. And I've previously done a video showing how to do that. But essentially what you would do is you would come into that and you would put what those terms are going to be. So it could be that regardless, you always have those same progress payment milestones, or it might be that you want to have, payment within 7 days, your payment terms included in there. Anything you want to include in there, you can. And what that means is once you have added that in, every time you choose that theme, those terms are going to show up by default, but you will also have the option to adjust them if necessary. So that's really useful if you have kind of a base set of terms, but you might have in a meeting with a customer decide on, agreed on some slightly different terms. So you want those base terms to show up and then the ability to adjust them. Then what you do is you send it, and I'm just going to send it to my email address. They get a copy. It includes an online quote link. And obviously in that email you can, flash it and say nice, lovely things to them about how you want to work with them. But we can see now that this quote has now been sent, so it's no longer a draft. And from here, you have a few options. So a client can can mark on that quote when they view it. They can let you know whether it's accepted or not, and you'll get an email notifying you of that. And you might want to revise it, so you might want to adjust something, you might want to copy it to another quote because you're doing a similar quote for someone else. But in this instance, let's assume that I have marked it as accepted. And once you've done that, Xero then gives you the option to create an invoice. And if I create an invoice, I'm going to mark it as invoice because I'm going to say that I've invoiced for the whole quote, and select create. And then what Xero does is automatically pulls all that information through to the invoice, so you don't have to make any more adjustments. In this instance, I just have to enter the due date and approve it. And I didn't enter a due date. I'm going to say it's due on the 31st and approve it. And now that invoice is ready to be sent out to the customer. So again, I've saved a whole lot of time in terms of data entry for entering the difference between entering the information from the quote to the invoice. Xero's done it all for me by pulling that information forward. Awesome. So that is a brief overview on quotes in Xero. If you have any questions or you're wondering if there's something specific you can do around quoting in Xero, please feel free to put your question in the comments below, or to send it through to the Admin Army Facebook page. I'm more than happy to answer any specific questions you might have. Awesome. Have a great day. Bye.